Follow-up question on that. Would you rather have a democracy or access to abortions?
I don't have a answer for that one.
You got to pick. You have to pick one.
I don't know. I would need more detail. Can you give me more detail?
The democracy.
Yeah, democracy is gone, and you can have abortions, or you can have abortions, or you can't have abortions, but you have democracy.
I think you can have abortions. I don't know.
Well, Andrew, would this be like a fair scenario? So you can still have an abortions, but you have like a Trump monarchy, and then like Trump becomes like God King, and then all his firstborn son then becomes president, and then like it's just what's that term for
monarchy?
No, it'd be but there's a specific term for like progeniture. I don't fucking know. Okay, whatever.
Okay,
it goes from father to son.
Goes from father to son.
Okay.
So it's like Trump for
obviously I wouldn't want that, so
you don't like
guess,
Barron? You're not like a Barron Stan?
A Karen?
Barron.
Trump.
No.
Okay. What do you pick?
Same as her.
So what is your answer? Okay, did you pick democracy or did you pick
Democracy.
abortion?
Democracy.
Okay, all right. Whatever they got in Canada. I don't know what they have in Canada. Annex Canada.
I think I'm a little lost on the question, but I think I'd pick democracy.
Okay, pause. Democracy or abortions?
Democracy.
Okay, Chloe?
Probably abortions.
Okay, why? You're like a anarchist?
I feel like
You're like, fuck democracy?
the democracy we have anyway is like hardly even. So
What do you mean by that?
I don't have the U.S. for me has not painted a good picture of what democracy is. So given that, I don't like this democracy that we're in. Not that I'm like not.
If Kamala had just won, would your answer be different?
No.
Oh, okay. You'd still be like, fuck the
I just
democracy.
don't like the U.S.
Wait, what?
You just prefer the South Korean democracy?
I just don't like the U.S.
Why?
I never have.
Why?
I've lived abroad before, and
Why don't you like the U.S.?
The people here and the culture here and the government
But South
here.
Korea is an American port. I mean, they literally imported all of the values of America. They have the same democracy. They have the same types of constitutional rights. Like, it's basically an American port.
It's a lot more conservative, though.
The culture is different, though.
It's very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about America do you dislike?
I just don't like, in all, the way the government does things
Like what?
here. The police forces.
What about the
Not
police?
that I don't like the police. I have plenty of friends who are policemen and policewomen.
Do you think we should
but
defund the police?
Not defund. It's just
what-
like better training needs to happen.
Okay. What are your objections, though, when it comes to the police? Just they're not trained well? Is that-
Systematic racism.
Systematic racism? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I've
that's
seen
not a
more.
problem with South Korean police at all. That's like, they're like known for it. Just like Japanese police are literally known for it. It's one of the most common things that Asian police forces are known for, is being the most racist on planet Earth.
And when I see that with my own eyes, then I'll have a different opinion on that. But I have seen countless of my friends shot by police officers.
You've seen... Wait, hold on.
Do you know Johnny
No,
Somali?
you haven't. You're full of it. You haven't seen countless of your friends shot by cops.
You've seen with your
Yes.
own eyes. You've been what do you mean seen?
I have seen a couple of my friends get shot with my own
No,
eyes.
you
And then
haven't.
I've
No, you
heard
haven't
plenty of
seen
my
that.
friends
Okay.
who've
Okay,
gotten-
I'll tell you what. I've got a $500 right now. If you could give the scenario of where you can prove that you were somewhere where you physically watched your friend get shot by cops, Brian pulls it up, I'll give you $500 right now.
Why would there be a video of it?
Well, it's pretty high profile when somebody gets shot by the police.
Not in
right?
the area that some people live in.
Yeah,
It's not.
even in predominantly black areas, it's still actually rare that black men get shot by police. Very rare.
They have body cams too, the police. So.
And a lot of those.
Wait, so
are
you
not
were hanging
revealed.
out like when you say you've seen, because some people might use the word seen, like I knew somebody and they were shot, but I didn't see it. You saw it with your own eyes. You were there with them.
I have seen probably 2 people with my own eyes.
Get
but
shot
then
by
I have
police.
seen in passing, as in like heard from everyone, seen it.
So you've seen.
You haven't.
You've seen-
You haven't seen anybody get shot. What? It's at least 2, not just 1. You had to go with the 2. So now it's like there's one really rare event that almost nobody ever witnesses. You just happened to see it twice. With your own eyes. It's like, just stop.
Are you
listen, you're embarrassing yourself. Literally,
It
you're
might be
embarrassing
rare
yourself.
for
Just
you.
stop.
Where are you
It's
from?
rare for everybody.
The mean streets of Santa Monica?
Jennings, Missouri.
Jennings, Missouri. I'm not familiar with Jennings, Missouri. Wait, but so are you counting taser, or are you saying
No, like shot at. Yes.
shot at?
Shot
Were they
at.
hit?
One of them was.
Shot at
Yes.
with a gun.
Yes.
Huh. I don't know how it goes. Maybe Missouri. I don't know. Missouri's kind of crazy, not gonna lie. Maybe it's true, Andrew. It is Missouri, after all. You were there. Did you get shot too?
No.
You didn't get shot?
No.
Was it the man who got shot?
The man? What do you
Was
mean?
it? Were you with a man or a woman? Who got shot? A man?
I was in a group of friends, and one of the guys got shot.
Was he white or black?
Black.
Or Asian or Latino
Black.
or Polynesian or indigenous or
None
Native
of
American?
those extra ones.
He was black?
Yes.
But you said 2 shootings. Was the other guy also black?
Yes.
This was the same
Very
day?
racist. This is
No.
a very racist.
Oh.
Okay. Did they make it? Are they okay? Or?
One of them had to get treated. Like I said, one of them actually got hit. One of them was not hit, but they were shot at.
Did he run away or what happened? The other guy who made it, who didn't get shot, but got shot
The
at.
guy who got shot at.
Yeah. Is he okay?
It wasn't, I don't think that one was meant to hit them.
It was like a warning shot?
I don't know what I'd call it, to be honest.
Are you sure it was a police officer, not like gangbanging?
No, I'm very sure it was a police officer, outfit police officer. and
What was the
everything.
crime that the 2 men were like accused of or alleged to have committed? Because usually cops don't like just start blasting like for no reason. Question, did they have guns on them?
No. We were all roughhousing.
You were roughhousing. How
Roughhousing
old were
is
you
in like
guys when this happened?
13.
The cops were shooting at 13-year-olds.
We were 13-ish, yeah.
And so the cops drew guns on
Cop, singular.
singular cop, like a mall cop or like a cop.
We were in this area. There's this like almost abandoned parking lot next to where I lived,
Where
and
all
we'd all
rebellious
hang out
kids
there.
hung out.
And we just we all did fighting sports, so we would legitimately be fighting each other.
It was like Fight Club.
Kind
for
of.
13-year-olds.
We even, as a child, we used to have rock fights, and we just get rocks and swing them at each other.
Gnarly. Wait, so okay, cop pulls up. He's like, pulls out the blicky, and just starts blasting.
It's not like they started blasting
Starts
at them. It's
blasting.
they shot at them.
Shot.
Yeah, it wasn't
What
like
was the crime they were being accused? Like, what it?
And
Violence.
mind you, can we just point a couple of stats out here for Jennings, Missouri? That the entirety of the population of Jennings, Missouri is 12,895 people. It's extremely tiny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's-
And
yeah.
do you know if you had to take a guess, how many police shootings would you say that there were last year in Jennings, Missouri?
I have not lived in Missouri since I was a child, so
Okay,
I
what
don't
year
know.
did this happen so I can look up the stats and how many police shootings there
This
were?
happened?
It wasn't
that was-
reported, Andrew. It wasn't reported.
Yeah,
No, if an officer discharged his weapon at somebody, it was reported.
It was.
it's
For sure.
not.
It was a
always
corrupt
reported, No.
police station.
The corrupt cops went out and just started willy-nilly discharging their weapons at people, and you
at
happened to be in the
13-year-olds.
room at the time.
They were blasting at the 13-year-olds.
Not the wording I used, but
In like a violent.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. That's just completely ridiculous.
Are you sure like they didn't just shut their car door loudly and you guys thought it sounded like gunshots?
no, we know what gunshots sounded like.
Yeah. Did you carry back when you were 13 or?
I used to go shooting with my family.
What? So the gun just the cop pulls up to a bunch of 13-year-olds in their fight club and just starts blasting. Was he blasting, like, was he trying to hit someone specific, or he was just like kind of like, fuck it, if they die, they die?
I'm not them, so I wouldn't personally know what was going through their head.
What do you mean them?
I
Like,
say them when
what
I refer
pronouns?
to anyone
Like
that
they,
I don't
them?
know.
Are you talking they, them?
No.
Am I to assume that this 13-year-old went to the hospital at least?
To the hospital?
Well, one of
Yes.
them missed.
Yeah, one of them was not actually hit.
Okay, which one was it? Was it the 13-year-old?
They got like grazed in the arm. It wasn't a serious.
So did they go to the hospital?
They went to the doctors, yes.
Like
They
the
went to
vet?
the hospital. So by law, if there's a shooting of this type, the hospitals have to immediately report it to the police department. And so we would have a record. If you give me the year, I can actually source it and find out if there was any
I have
13-year-olds who were
reported
shot that
plenty
year
of
because the
things.
hospital reported it.
to the police that never anything ever happened out of
Wait,
that.
I got to read this really quick before it falls off. Law Paladin says, bro, chicks are never happy. 80% of infinity, still infinity. You could give them like Chris Hemsworth and it wouldn't be enough for any woman. For those of you women who said 80% not acceptable, although we had some pretty open-minded women here. So do we want to continue with the inquiry?
Yeah, I want to continue.
You want to continue about the inquiry?
I would like to know this.
The cop shooting inquiry.
So this 13-year-old, he was grazed. He went to the hospital, and you're saying that the hospital never reported it to the police department.
He went to a doctor.
Was
he
it
did
a
not
vet?
go. No.
Like one of those
Yeah,
like
a doctor
criminal
would
doctors.
also have to report a gunshot-related injury to the police by law.
You know those like shifty places that aren't really legal doctors, but they know how to do some stuff?
Like it's a
So
vet.
you took him to a veterinarian, did you?
Yeah, it was like a vet doctor who like
You took him to a veterinarian. And
Like Breaking
it was
Bad.
Like, it was like in a casino, right? Like you get popped, right? Paulie gets popped, and you take him over to the veterinarian, and the veterinarian removes the bullets and sews him up, and then away he goes. Like it was like that.
No, like those people who are operating out of a weird building who don't actually have a license to be doing what they're doing.
some meth heads.
I mean, I don't know what they are, but
Those are
Yeah,
my
I
favorite
know
kind of
exactly what you're
doctors.
talking about. I've
Method
often seen
doctors.
unlicensed doctor buildings where you can go in and have bullet holes removed from you. Said nobody ever in the history of, all of my lifetime anyway. It's just, by the way, if I'm wrong, quick show of hands, how many of you have ever gone and visited one of these shifty, unlicensed doctors whose job is to remove bullet wounds from people?
You know what?
Anybody? Show of hands? Show of hands, anybody?
I actually take her word for it. I've been to Jennings, Missouri, and it's rough out there. In Jennings, okay, Andrew, let's not downplay the mean streets of Jennings, because you might catch a beef. You're in Michigan, Andrew. You might catch a beef in one of these gangbangers in Jennings, Missouri. They don't fuck around. Like, you're disrespecting the J boys. Wait, the Jennings boys. The Jennings boys. Andrew. The Jennings boys. Like, that's the gang. Is that the gang? What's the name of the gang from Jennings? It's the Jennings boys, and then also the never mind. Okay.
You know what, though? Maybe you're right. I knew a chick once. She knew a guy who was walking through, or she knew a girl who was walking through a park, and this chick was trained in MMA, and she was attacked by a couple of muggers, and she didn't just break one of their legs. She broke all of their legs. She broke all of these muggers' legs with her bare hands. It's the most impressive thing I'd ever heard of.
I remember that story. I was the breaking leg story. That was a good one. Okay, we have Joe Murphy here. B&A, let's cook a roast. Each lady defined feminism from a Western perspective and an Eastern that's asking a lot, Joe. Ladies, speak up against a master debater. Don't be afraid to open up your world views. How about this? Because I don't know Western perspective, Eastern perspective, I don't know how productive that'll be. How about just going around the table? Do you consider yourself a feminist? Starting with you.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
I'm not sure. I would need to look into.
Do we want to give them a definition on this one? Just I think this is Andrew's definition. A movement towards egalitarian with a rejection patriarchy.
Okay, so just equality?
Yeah.
A movement towards equality, which the form of equality we're talking about here is egalitarianism. So that there's no confusion, I use that word specifically because egalitarianism is expressing that men and women are essentially interchangeable widgets. Anything a man can do, a woman should be able to do, and anything a woman can do, a man should be able to do.
Feminist, yes, no?
I'm still not sure. I'd like to look into that more.
Okay. Pos, what about you?
I think yeah.
Okay.
I don't really know. I think people can just do whatever they want. I don't like if someone wants to go like how do I word it? Equality, yeah, sure. Should that be a thing? Absolutely. I don't think it 100% is. At the same time, I'm not going to put someone down for wanting to stay more traditional and not be a part of a feministic movement.
Are you feminist?
I don't do action supporting one way or another. I just live my life.
All right. What about you?
I think I'd also have to think about it a little bit more. But could I answer the second part of that, what was it, like comment thing? It was like talking more about like political views and who's the person?
You mean the previous?
Or no, yeah, the previous like comment.
Chat?
It was
Well, there was a question that we didn't go all the way around the table. We kind of started talking about America. I think the question was democracy or abortion. So I don't think you had a chance to answer on
I don't
that.
think she's talking about that. She's talking about that TPS.
I know, but why don't we just finish up that one then, since she reminded me?
I don't think I have a comment on that one either.
You got to participate, though, to some degree in the show. I mean, this is the second time you've...
I can participate because I want to talk about the education because...
We've already moved off of the... What do you mean, the education?
Well,
homeschooling?
Brian, Rachel did say that she'd like to take the seat and discuss this very issue with the dissenters. If you'd like to see that, I'm happy to bring her down.
Yeah, we can do that. I just want to get caught up on the chats.
No problem. I'm just letting you know.
Sure, we can do that. So you wanted to talk about the what?
Like education, like homeschooling versus public school education.
And that, Andrew, that's what Rachel wanted to come talk on.
Yeah, well, because that moves into the broader idea, as the gal said, I think from your perspective to your right, she had said, listen, we're talking about optimals and this type of thing. That's because it opens up a kind of broader conversation on the topic, which is directly related to feminism and the idealism behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can come back to that, but so I guess finishing up, democracy or abortion?
Abortion.
Okay.
I don't know what the question was.
Oh, I guess if you had to choose, you can have one or the other. You can keep democracy, but you lose rights to abortion, or you can keep rights to abortion, but you lose democracy.
Abortion.
Tiffany?
I don't really care about either, but I would go with democracy.
Wait, why don't you care? You don't care about democracy? Just curious why?
No, not really. Because
you're like a nationalist, not a nationalist. You're
some people's opinions matter more. Like a person who doesn't even know what the difference between a country and a state is shouldn't be having the same weight on their vote.
For their vote. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian,
That's how it is in the U.S. So.
What about me?
Yeah.
On this question?
Democracy or abortion?
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Kind of like if we got rid of democracy and then I could just be dictator, that would be kind of cool. So I guess like I'd be down to be a dictator, like authoritarian or whatever.
Me too.
So I'm like kind of if it's me that gets to become like the authoritarian dictator.
What if it's
No, you
Trump?
don't get to be.
Oh.
You just live there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one then. I guess just like keep democracy then. If I had to pick between one or the other. I'll move it on just for the sake of time. I did have one note here. This came up in a previous conversation. We won't linger long. You spent time in Korea. There's this thing that kind of propped up here recently in the U.S. related to something that's going on in Korea, the 4B movement. Are you familiar with this at all?
I stay as far away from politics and anything to do with them as possible. So
I'll move on then. We do have a couple chats coming in. There's quite a few guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get to them as quick as possible. We got this one.
Tim_Stokely_ himself donated $200. What factors in your view have led to declining birth rates in developed countries?
Is this for the whole panel? What factors in your view have... Man, you're asking some... okay, what factors in your view? Porn? Feminism? Anybody else want to weigh in? Why are the birth weight...
There's only one. There's just one factor. It's very simple.
White
It's
anime pillows?
It's a prioritization in Western nations and in other nations adjacent to Western nations that prioritize education during women's reproductive years rather than prioritizing reproduction. That's it. That's the sum of the entire game. That's it.
All right, Tim Stokely, appreciate the TTS. Thank you very much. We have one from our good friend Lol Paladins.
Hail and well met.
Oh, God.
Lol Paladins donated
loud.
$200.02.
Thank you, man.
Just want to point out the obvious craziness of this. If a black 13-year-old was shot by police, it would be national news. She didn't see anything. She is so full of it.
That's what happened, right?
Yes.
Was it a white police officer?
Yes.
Well, how long ago was it?
When I was about 13.
So like, was it
almost
before
21 now.
the COVID? It was like 2019?
It was before COVID.
White officer shoots at 13-year-old black kid who was roughhousing with his friends. Is there a news article we can maybe find on this, or was it just not? It wasn't reported.
Without putting out the name of somebody whose family I'm sure wants the situation to be respected, no.
I mean, if it's already like a public, you don't have to share it, but I mean, if it's already out there in the public, it's already out there in the public, but that's totally fine. We have a couple more chats coming through here. We have Low Paladins, how dare you support women feeding their children, Andrew? You disgusting misogynist. They should have total freedom to go work for a corporation while a man stays at home giving them formula purchased with her money.
All right. Well, this is the idea. It's like, okay, little Johnny, don't worry. Mommy needed to work, so that's why I sent you out with Venezuela, and you have all of these inflammation issues in your body, right? It seems like a very stupid thing to do. And I did. I mean, I made the insistence. I definitely wanted to see my kids at home, and I wanted to make sure that they were breastfed, absolutely, so that they didn't have those types of issues.
All right. We have a TTS coming in here, and 3 more.
Tracy on Tilt donated $200.
Thank you, Tracy.
Andrew, your wife is a savage. I strive to be as great of a woman that she is, and she is a role model to women like me. It's great to see a woman like her defending our beliefs in this modern world.
Yo, Tracy on Tilt, thank you so much for the TTS. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Rachel's great. She's always been great.
Yeah. So thank you, Tracy on Tilt. That name's familiar. Did you DM us recently? But thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We have 3 chats coming in here. We have Joe Murphy. He says, Sina, can I have you read the hundreds?
Ladies, you can catch a refund on the first couple of 50-50 dates once offering sexual access. A bow and children, contrary to popular sexual revolution, you might
land a good man for life. Thank you, Joe Murphy. That was beautiful. I agree. You got to hit the bow. Definitely hit the bow on the first. Should we bow? We'll do the bow video a little later. But okay, Joe Murphy. He also says, "Go ahead, Sina."
The issue with feminist groupthink: you can't be a rock star mother and have a career. It's impossible. Choose one mission to maximize your ability. If your mission is to be the best mother.
That's from Joe Murphy. Thank you for the soup chat, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Any disagreements from any of the panelists here?
But what's a definition of like the best mother? Because I think my mom works and that made me a better person because I see that she's ambitious and career driven.
One question on that. What
that would make me feel like shit. Make me feel like she was prioritizing career over me.
Well,
your parents are still together?
Yes.
And both of them work?
Yes.
And do they, in terms of the income brought to the household, is it about the same? Your dad more, your mom more?
My dad makes more.
Dad makes more, okay. And she works full-time?
She does.
And what about when you were young? Do you have siblings?
No, I'm an only child.
Just you, okay.
Yeah.
Was she working full-time even when you were younger, or what was your experience growing up?
I think she took off time for like maternity leave, but she was working like majority of my childhood.
So prior to having you, she was working full-time?
Yeah, she was.
What's her job?
She works for the school district.
Is she like a secretary, or what is she, like a counselor, or what does she do?
No, she like manages like a foreign language program.
Okay, and she's working full-time?
Yeah.
Okay, and how much time did she take off? A year?
I'm not quite sure how much she took off.
Yeah. All right. Andrew, it sounded like you maybe had something, or?
Yeah, so I was just saying I understand there could be circumstances where women need to work for the production of income for a household. There's no doubt about that. And by necessity, I think that good moms, of course, will do that. What I'm saying is that if they don't actually have to work, they don't have to. They're hedging their bets against their own future, thinking that it's possible that there could be a divorce, something like this. They want to fall back on some income or career that they have. Then they're prioritizing themselves over the future of their own children. And I think that that's in many ways despicable.
But I think my mom, like, I feel like the fact that she had a job not only made me realize that, you know, I need to be ambitious and want like a great career in the future as well, but then she also had the time to take care of me.
That's not possible.
Why is that not possible?
How many hours a week does your mom work?
Like it's probably like the standard like 8 to 5.
Okay, so she works 8 to 5, which means that she had to outsource your care from at least the hours of 8 to 5, right?
Okay, but when you say outsource, yes,
somebody else besides her had to do it between the hours of 8 to 5.
Yes, so
right?
Okay, so my grandma raised me from those hours that she wasn't home. Why is that
optimal?
Why is that
optimal as opposed to your own mother?
Because she is a great woman too that influenced my beliefs, and why can't that be optimal for somebody else to?
Was it necessary? Like, did she necessarily need to work in order to support you, or was it a choice that she made because she wanted the extra income?
I don't think. Well, she always told me this. I don't think she wanted to work because of the extra income, because quite frankly, we were okay financially. But
yeah, well then why was she prioritizing that over you? That's weird.
Because work gives you a sense of fulfillment in terms of
raising your own children.
But she did raise me.
So you want to work?
She didn't.
You want to work in the future so that you can provide the same example for your daughter?
Your grandma raised you.
I think my mom worked, right? And she gave me, seeing her work and also being able to raise me and spend time with me.
She didn't raise you. She outsourced half of your raising to somebody else or more.
She did raise me. You're defining raising as a 100%.
So your grandma at least raised you from the hours of 9 to 5, right?
And she was a great influence on me. So that was optimal.
She wasn't. Not saying that your grandma wasn't a great influence, okay? I'm just saying that she outsourced your raising to a person who was not her from at least the hours of 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, right?
But you're saying that what is optimal...
Can you answer my question before you ask me one?
Sorry. Could you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah. Your grandma raised you at least from the hours of 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. Is that correct?
Correct.
So then somebody besides your mom was actually raising you between at least most of the block of the day.
Correct.
Okay, correct. So if that is the case, then I don't know what you're disputing with me. Saying that your grandma's a good person, I'm not disputing that. Grandma's probably awesome.
I understand that, but you're saying that not outsourcing is optimal.
Yes, that would have been optimal for you, correct.
But I think outsourcing was the optimal way to raise me, because
why? So you're saying that you would prefer to have had less time with your mother during your formative years?
I'm not saying I would have rather had less time, but
So would you have rather had more time with your mother or less time with your mother?
I was happy the way I grew up, because
can you answer my question though? Would you rather have less time with your mother in your formative years or more time with your mother in your formative years?
There's no less or more. I was happy with what I had.
So you can't answer my question, right? Because the answer is you'd rather have more time with your mother during your formative years, and you know it, right?
But I actually liked that my grandma raised me, because now I have an established relationship with my grandma that I wouldn't have had.
You would have an established relationship with your grandma anyway.
What guarantees that? If she didn't raise me during those years.
Your grandma wouldn't have come and visited you because your mom stayed home with you, or what?
But I had a deeper connection with my grandma because I spent those
that's the problem, right? That's the bad thing. It's like that deeper connection aspect. When you say I have a deeper connection with grandma,
I think you're just taking it personally.
than I have potentially with my own mother, right? So that's the thing that I'm disputing here. It's like, I'm not saying that your grandma's not a wonderful person and didn't do everything she could possibly do to raise you. I'm not saying anything like that at all. I'm just pointing out that if a woman is to prioritize outsourcing your care to somebody else, then it sounds like she's not prioritizing you. She's letting somebody else prioritize you, and I think that that's ultimately fairly selfish.
But you can prioritize multiple things. Why do you have to just pick one in life?
Yes, you can, but I think that a good mother prioritizes her children above all things.
I can see your perspective. I may not necessarily agree with it, but...
Yeah, I think that that's fair. Like, listen, I understand that people come from all different walks of life and have all sorts of contributing circumstances to how they were raised. I most certainly did. I had a stay-at-home dad rather than a stay-at-home mom because my father had multiple sclerosis. He couldn't work. So he stayed at home with me. And those are the best years of my life. He was a fantastic father, this type of thing. But always one of my parents was at home to take care of us. And the reason that was so important, rather than outsourcing, is because they valued us more than they valued any external gains. So that's just my perspective.
I see your perspective, and I can respect it.
You mentioned that because your mom worked, she was a figure there in terms of you saw her ambition. She, I suppose, wanted to instill ambition in you. Since we are talking about dating here, I always found this interesting because women are attracted to men who are ambitious. And then I think women tend to think that, well, I'm attracted to this in men, ergo, there's a symmetry there in terms of what men certainly must find attractive in me or in women. Do you think that when it comes to finding a partner, your ambition or success or career goals will make you more attractive to men?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I don't think I am ambitious for men. I'm just ambitious.
That's not what I'm asking, though. You're ambitious for yourself, right?
I am.
Okay.
But you're saying,
money,
do you think
right?
it makes me more attractive?
Right, in the way that, for example, I think that for women, a man who's a doctor, just by simply virtue of him being a doctor, because of the status, because of the money that comes with it, he's going to just be deemed as a more attractive partner to women wholesale, whereas it's not clear to me if a woman who's a doctor, if that's going to be a substantial, that's going to be make men really attracted to her in the same way that a man who's a doctor is going to be really attractive to women.
Can I intrude for 1 second?
Well, I'll have her answer, but then I'll let you go ahead. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think me being ambitious makes me attractive.
To men?
To men.
How so?
Well, I guess it just kind of depends. I feel like I'm generalizing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that I'm hardworking and that I have goals. I think that's attractive. I think that's an attractive trait either way.
Your goals are related to your career, though, correct?
I mean, it can be any type of goals. It can be health goals. It can be career goals. It can be family goals.
Okay. What are your family goals? How many kids do you want?
I want 2, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know when you'd like to get married and have children by?
Probably
Do you want to get married?
I do.
Okay.
My late 20s, maybe
late 20s,
early 30s.
Early 30s? Okay. You had something on this?
Yeah, so I was thinking that men and what they do doesn't necessarily make us attracted to them. So I don't really think that it applies to us either.
What do you mean?
them having such a high job, but let's say they're horrible people, we won't find them attractive. Them having not such a good job, but still good, but not being good people.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know who Chris Brown is?
Yeah, I do.
This man he's wealthy, very high status.
Yes.
He also has a history of alleged
Abuse,
domestic violence. Okay. Do you think he has a shortage of women who are attracted to him?
I think so. I'm not attracted
Really?
to him. Yeah.
Well, just because you're attracted, really?
Yes.
You realize there are women who pay like thousands of dollars just to take a photograph with him?
I'm sure, but I don't think that's all women.
Sure, it's not all women, but like you said, well, these men with a lot of status, but they're horrible, ergo this precludes them from having romantic or sexual interest from women.
As many.
It's clear, despite like the mountains of news reporting, and look, I don't know the full details of the allegations towards Chris Brown. In any case, it does seem to be the narrative that he did attack Rihanna or whatever, and perhaps other women. I don't know all the details. So you would say he's a horrible person?
No, I would say that career and that statement that you made is not necessarily based on
what?
On men.
You think so? Just to be clear, your position is women do not find men with status attractive?
Not all, no.
Well, I'm not making like a totality claim. I'm not saying all women are going to prioritize this. Most will, though.
Okay,
I'd say the majority of women are going to find high status men attractive.
Sure. I wouldn't say all, but if you
virtue.
say some, then I would agree.
What percentage would you attribute this phenomenon to?
I would say 60%.
So a majority of women.
Sure, but not all.
Okay.
So that when you apply it to women, that's why I said.
What would be the reverse? So like men who are like seeking out high status women.
Right. When do they do that?
They don't.
Exactly.
Oh, so you agree with me?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Wait, so I'm confused.
I was just making a statement on like both sides.
Oh, okay. So you're saying not all women.
Right.
Sure, not all women, of course. Plenty of women date like average men or whatever.
Right.
But this does seem to be a more common phenomenon in women than it is in men.